What is up guys, it is Simba here and welcome back to the channel for another league racing video on F1 24, and today it is round number 10 for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the last race I've done, which was in Bahrain, be sure to check that one out before you see this one, because Mexico was round 9, I could not be bothered with it, so we're going to skip to the final two races of the season, which is Jeddah and then Japan. If you are enjoying the league racing content along with the team racing content on the channel, make sure you hit the like button and get subscribed for more F1 24 content. I'm going to try and be as consistent as I can. Obviously, the university is back up and running, and I am going to try my best to be consistent with the uploads because the channel is growing little by little, and I really am appreciating the support on the channel. But let's get straight into the video, shall we? Here we are in qualifying here in Jeddah for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We're on our second lap after invalidating the first one, and you can see by the title, this is not going to be a fun video for me to look back on. So, we'll see. You'll see how things turn out. As you can see, we've not done the best first sector, though. It's a 31.9, and ideally, you'd be doing a 0.7 or a 6, maybe even a 5 in the first sector if you're good around here. But for us, we're kind of struggling to get the laps together because I was practicing just half an hour before the race. I got back from university quite late, so it's not ideal, but we have to get on with it. This has not been a great lap, but we're going to try and make sure it's valid this time. Swinging the car through turns 22 and 23. We make our way now down towards the back straight, where we use the overtake, and the DRS is wide open as you spot the black box one more time for the final corner. Down the gears to third. Make sure we hit the apex, which we do quite nicely. And the exit is pretty solid. And here we go. DRS open one more time as we come up to the line.
He set a valid lap.
Yes.
Let's go.
Vamos.
He actually got the slowest set lap.
And as you can see, that is qualifying done. One and done. I couldn't get another lap in because it was a really scruffy session, and we ended up P13, which is absolutely shocking. My PB was a 27.1, so with that we would have been potentially P8 or even P6. So Jeddah on our pad is absolutely awful, and it's the same story here. Just no confidence around here means you're going to be in big trouble. I am in a party with FRT Rain, a fellow FRT driver. He's qualified P9. He didn't quite maximize qualifying either. So we've both got some work to do in the race. So let's see what we can do. We'll find out.
NXT, isn't that like WWE?
That is what I think of when I see the game attack.
Oh, big up NXT, to be fair. Had that like one Undertaker comeback moment. Like the American Badass. Oh. Got locked in.
We need to lock in, mate.
Yeah.
We gotta go. It's time to
We're locking in.
Enough about NXT. And as you can hear, me and Rain are pretty much bantering between each other, going on about NXT, which is quite the throwback for me. But anyway, time to focus on the race. We're going to be starting on the hard tyres. We're going to try and emulate the same strategy that Duncan Hoffman used to win in PSGL. Go on the hards, then move on to the mediums to have fresher tyres at the end. So, let's see what happens then. Time to race here in Jeddah. We look at the 5 red lights once more in WOR. And the lights are out, and we are underway for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix as we look to try and get off the line. Well, are you joking?
Did you just get murdered?
How have we made contact not even 10 seconds into the race? How is that possible? How is that possible? How?
What happened?
How?
You have damage?
Yes.
Oh, Epicville just spun. Oh, that's good.
How is that possible?
Can you do medium?
How do you lock wheels off the line?
Did he turn into you?
Man. Yeah, they spun into me.
Retard. Jesus, this skill in these lobbies. They're not real.
How? Unbelievable. This is supposed to be the second highest level of cross-play racing. Some of these guys are looking to race in world, and they can't get off the line. Unbelievable. Wank. And as you can see, we did not get off the line very well. We've got damage, and my reaction
Christ,
speaks
it's
for
got
itself. I don't like ranting
Someone
and
is spending
raging a
the
lot. I
time
haven't really done it that often.
Saddle pad,
But
that was at the front of the
we've got
bridge,
damage,
second penalty.
and we're going to box for a new wing.
Nice.
I do not understand it, Rain. I really don't. I don't like raging. I haven't done it in a long time. I haven't
Nah,
had a
it's
rage like
because
that in ages.
genuinely, the drivers think they're this quick that they just don't need to. They just forget about being clean. They forget about any racetrack.
And you can hear me discussing it with Rain, and he's absolutely right. Racing standards are down the toilet the higher you go in this league racing game, because essentially people don't really know how to race. So they're too busy sweating tracks on time trial. But that's besides the point. We have got a new front wing, we've got new tyres, and we've calmed down just a little bit. So we are going to get racing again, and this time we're going to make sure we do not make contact on the main straight and get damaged. So off we go. We've managed to catch NVR Samuel completely unawares there, and we can actually go racing in this video. It's taken a while, and you can see the length of this video. There's quite a lot to get through. So this is just the start of all the shenanigans. As you can see, we're trying to make a move on Bobbert through turn 2. He's on the hards, so ideally we would try and get past him as soon as possible, as the hard tyres do take a while to heat up on this game in general. So we're going to sit behind him for now. Going to see if we can try and pick up an opportunity, as it is actually quite difficult to overtake around Jeddah because everyone is just stuck with a DRS train. So we need to pick our moments, as Bobbert has a huge moment. With turn 22, we hit the wall, and now we're going to try and make our first move of this race. We're going to go side by side with the McLaren. We've got Samuel, who's right with us as well, nearly making it 3 wide down the back straight, but we do emerge ahead by the time we get to turn 27, and we move ourselves up into P11 in this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So despite the fact that I have been raging already, we have gained 2 places and only 1 place away from the points paying positions. As you can see, DRS has been enabled. As you can see, there's more side-by-side action, this time between CRE Rapids and I believe that's Shazoo Alpha Gully as well in the Sauber. So everything's kicking off here so far in this race, as DRS is enabled, and that's only going to make things even more interesting. But ERS management is key. You can see the car in front of us, which is Alex Lamas, who was involved in that first lap collision, is just using none through the first sector combo of corners. As you can see, we've got DRS open on lap 5. Samuel is right on our gearbox, which is kind of forcing us to use the battery, which isn't ideal because you need battery around this track, especially if you want to make moves, especially going into turn 1, for example. So on to lap 6, we've managed to set our personal best of the race with a purple lap sector, but there's fighting going up ahead. There's so many cars fighting for the same piece of tarmac.
Oh, Spicer's out.
Oh my god, Spicer's dead.
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
Wow.
Safety car deployed.
I honestly had a feeling that something was going to happen. I saw way too many cars on one piece of tarmac there.
And all of a sudden, that is safety car number 2. After just 6 laps of this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And then our Spicer losing his car, his wheel disconnected on him, and he's gone straight into the wall after turn 1. And now the safety car is brought out again in a short space of time. Rain was not too happy in the background. You can hear him getting pretty annoyed because he thought he had to stack with his teammate, but thankfully his teammate stayed out. And we're going to put on the set of the hard tyres that we used on the first lap. So the thinking behind this is we should get to the end of the race. You can hear me and Rain saying hello to each other in the background, as we are looking to try and work together, as we are now on the same piece of tarmac now. So hopefully we make progress.
I want to go bowling. Oh.
Have you got damage?
No.
Oh,
I got a 10-second time penalty.
Now that is not ideal for Rain. Thankfully he doesn't have damage, but that 10-second penalty might haunt him for the rest of the race, as everyone's car parking it before the safety car restart. Rain is on the medium, so he's going to try and make something happen on this safety car restart. As we get underway again, we've got Alpha Gully putting pressure on us, but Rain is looking to make an impact here, going into the first corner.
Okay, clear.
Oh my god. How did I go up the inside of him?
And he has done exactly that. He's pulled off an unreal double overtake going into the first corner. He's mugged off Rapids. He's mugged off more Minotaur in the Mercedes. And just like that, he is up into the points-paying positions again. Up into P10 he goes. And we're going to see if we can try and get our name in the hat. I don't want to be outdone by Rain. So we're going to see if we can make a move of our own up the inside of CRE Rapids in the Red Bull. Going into this banked left-hander. We don't quite get the traction. And unfortunately, he just ekes out ahead as we go into this complicated chicane in Sector 2. I hate this chicane on the pad because it's so hard to nail along with the rest of the track. But for now, we're just going to have to sit behind Rapids. But if you're not making progress in Jeddah, you're only going backwards. As you can see, Alpha Gully on the mediums as well. He's going to go right round the outside. I'm leaving him racing room as he goes through. And Bobbert sees the opportunity. He's gone on to mediums as well. And he breezes right past us. And now we are down in last place. DRS has been enabled, but at this point, judging of all the carnage that we have seen already in this video, I'm not too bothered about it. As you can hear, Ray not too happy as there's a lot of side-by-side action going on into turn 3, which is quite a risky maneuver to go for, especially with the WOR catching out a few people. Even Otis Lawrence in PSGL, he got caught out by that exact same wall at turn 3. So it's very easy to end up in the wall around here as Bobbert now looks to try and make even more progress, trying to go round the outside of Rapids, going into this banked corner. And you know what? He's pulled it off. Rapids losing the rear, and Bobbert now moves up into P13. And you can see here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not making progress around here, someone will leap on the fact that you are not doing anything, and they'll catch you napping. And that's exactly what Bobbert has just done to Rapids. So probably a warning shot to any other cars he's approaching in this race, as Rapids is now really struggling here. He goes wide at turn 22, and that compromises his run through turn 23. And now we're going to try and send him into last place. I think this is his first race in Tier 2, so we're going to try and give him a reality check, send him back one place, and send him to the back of the grid as we do manage to make the move round the outside and we're up into P14. So it is a bit frustrating at this point, but we're going to try and make something happen. You can see Alpha Gully's flashing as we start lap 11, and we're going to try and go up the inside on the brakes. We try and match him on the hards compared to his mediums, and unfortunately we don't quite get the drive to make it happen on the exit at turn 2. So we're just going to have to sit behind him for the time being. In the meantime, on to lap 13, you can see Predestinato has been overtaken by Alpha Gully. So, and Alpha Gully gets a penalty as well. So, not only you have to be careful of the walls around here, you also got to be careful of track limits. It's very easy to exceed track limits around here, especially because you have to be absolutely on the limit. As Rapids goes up the inside again, and again, we're in last.
What is Schumacher doing? He's trying to put Epic Veil into the pit lane.
And meanwhile, Schumacher continuing his fantastic racecraft as he's nearly putting Epic Veil into a wall. Now, I have messaged Schumacher after this race about the start because he was involved in that, if you saw in the background, and I wasn't very happy with him. He thinks it wasn't his fault. I am definitely insisting that it is, and that just sums up the racecraft nowadays. That's why the title is what it is. But we've got to keep pressing. We are still last at the moment on lap 14. And we have passed the halfway point in this race. Down to 15 runners. And now we're going to try and pass Rapids again on the inside. Going into this left-hander. Bobbert went round the outside. We go to the inside. We do make a bit of contact. And we do lose the rear on the way through. And I must confess, it's not my cleanest overtake. But you got to do what you got to do sometimes. We move up to P14. And Rapids is literally on our gearbox at the exit of those corners. It really was annoying me how he was getting such a good run out of those corners. But now on to lap 15. We're looking to try and make a bit more progress.
Oh, yeah, that's my wing gone.
On your left.
Yeah.
Green flag.
Oh, that's not ideal.
Far from ideal. It was looking good, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was not looking good in the slightest.
I meant position-wise.
No, I was behind Schumacher in P7.
And unfortunately, Rain has managed to destroy his entire front wing. He got more damage. He was already carrying a bit of damage over the last few laps, but now he's lost his whole front wing, and that is basically his race over. And we move up to P12, but at the expense of our fellow FRT driver, and we're going to try and make it up to P11 as we have a look on the inside of Predestinato going into turn 1. That compromises his run on the inside line, and we get a beautiful switchback and a beautiful drive out of turn 2. And by the time we get to turn 3, we make the move.
That was a lovely move.
And you can hear me simply say, that is a lovely move. And there you go, guys. Racecraft done properly, and now we've got more Minotaur right in front of us. He's got front wing damage. He gets a penalty in the process of trying to recover his car back onto the racing line, and we managed to breeze past him too. So a few laps ago we weren't too happy because I felt like I wasn't making enough progress in this race, being stuck in last place. And now somehow we are in a point paying position with just under 10 laps to go, but we've just got to try and stay within Alpha Gully's DRS, which is something that we've not managed to do by the time we start lap 17, where we get our first warning for track limits. You can see Alpha Gully and Bobbert have got time penalties in front of us, so those two are serving us a bit of a warning shot if we're not careful with track limits. But it's taken us 17 laps to get our first warning, so we're doing a pretty decent job with discipline around here. But at this point, it feels like we're trying to survive as Bobbert takes a very wide line there. He bombs out on the curb and manages to recover.
Well, Bobbers took a very interesting line there.
I'm going to retire, I think. I'm just going to watch. If a safety car comes out, I'm going to cry.
Meanwhile, FRT Rain is going to retire, which is a huge shame. We're down to 14 runners now. So this is really turning into a race of attrition as Bobbers goes wide again. What am I seeing on my screen? You can hear me say he's struggling, and I think at this point, the hard might be the better tyre at this stage of the race, but I'm not too sure what's going on anymore. You can tell it's just a lot of carnage going on, and I'm surprised I'm keeping up quite well at the moment. You can see Rapid is on our rear again after the chicane in the middle sector. We're using the battery just to keep him away from us, but he's going to try and go round the outside into the last corner. We're going to try and give him as much space and respect as possible. We managed to fend him off on the exit, and now can we try and look ahead to the McLaren and Alpha Gully? This is for P8 at the maximum, so we can still get some decent points despite this race being an absolute clown show as Rapids goes up the inside of the turn 1. There's a bit of contact, and he did try a move, but he couldn't quite pull it off, and we do manage to stay ahead of him, albeit the contact model being really dodgy. As we have got 7 laps to go in this race, and I'm not giving up yet. You know, there's still points on offer, so here we go. DRS open on Bobbert. We're using as little battery as possible because I want to try and save some for the main straight. We're going to try and hold our line round the outside, but Bobbert's just shuts the door on us there. And now we're going to try and use the battery and try and get the Sauber as well. So DRS wide open on lap 19. You can see we don't have much battery to work with. And Alpha Gully goes defensive. I'm going to try the same move we did on Predestinato, but we don't quite get the drive out of the corner. And Bobbert does get ahead of Alpha Gully. Now this is going to be quite painful. You can see we are pushing him through the corners here, through turn 3, and Bobbert is getting away, which is really frustrating. But you can see the front wing damage is affecting him through this fast section. We get our second warning for track limits here, so we've got to be careful. But we're going to use the overtake. We've got the better run, and we're going to go up the inside, going into this banked corner, and we make the move. Up into P9 we go in this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We're not giving up yet. This race does feel a lot like Australia at the start of this game, where it's just a bunch of chaos. It's very frustrating, but we're still within a shout of scoring points as now we look to try and look ahead.
Ooh. Never mind.
It's so pointless.
He just randomly burned all of his battery. He just lost a position. 30 battery behind.
What I'm looking to avoid, it's just stupid thing like this.
And you can see there, what's he doing? You can hear me getting frustrated at this point because he's achieved nothing through that. He's lost a place to Predestinato. We've lost 2 places to Rapids and Predestinato. And it's really frustrating. You can tell that my frustration... I'm reaching my boiling point here. Like I haven't lost it already. We're going to try the same move as we did on Predestinato. Lovely run out of turn 2 again, but we are not quite alongside enough to make the move happen. We just have to back out of it. And Rain is spotting us for the rest of this race, and he's just telling us to just stay in non-ERS for now, and he is giving me updates on what the battery is looking like with the cars around us, so at least that helps. You can see on to lap 21, we're going to try and use it all now. We've managed to charge up the battery, and we're going to try and get those places back, starting off with Predestinato. Round the outside, going into the final corner, Bobbett's boxes in, but I am going to try and set up a really good exit, try and set up a cutback. Going into the main straight, we do make a bit of contact with the RB. He tucks into the slipstream of Bobbert, which gives us the opportunity to go for the inside line. And we might have a look at not one but 2 cars going into turn 1. Into turn 2, we're going to be side by side with the McLaren, but we get the drive on the outside line. Are we going to be able to retain the place going into turn 3?
Oh, shit. Oh. What the?
Oh,
Oh,
that's lucky.
Come on! I didn't even mean to do that. I try and let him go and I still lock with him. Just...
I think that reaction sums up the race. You can hear me just sounding like I'm about to give up. I did mean to make contact with Predestinato there, as the contact model almost put us in the wall at turn 3, and unfortunately Predestinato's race is completely ruined, and we're down in P11 again, and we're going to have to save the battery all over again. This is incredibly frustrating, and this is why the title is what it is. It just was like a clown show. Nothing's going well for us at this point in time. You can see Alpha Gully and Bobbert have passed Daddlepad, who was up ahead, but he's got damage and he's really struggling through turns 3 and 4, and we're going to try and pass him.
PlayStation at its best.
And you can hear Rain sarcastically saying, PlayStation at its best, as Daddlepad looked like he was going to hold us up there, and he cuts the corner trying to keep up with us even though he's got damage. It doesn't make any sense, does it? It doesn't make any sense. I think Daddlepad went off and retired after this as well, because I think he was up the order in the higher places for points. As on to lap 24, we're up into P10 again, and now...
Oh, Epic Bill's out.
Yellow flag.
Epic Vale is the next victim here. He's crashed through the first sector. We just about avoid his car there. And we move up into 9th place in this race. This race is almost over, but we've got one more lap, and I can see that there are 3 cars in front of us, and something can happen on this final lap. 2 of the cars have got penalties, so we're going to try our best to give it everything here.
Just keep your battery served at this point.
Okay, mate, this is the final lap of the race. Final lap.
So, here we go. Last lap of what has been a very eventful Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and I believe P6 is still on the cards for us. It will be a great result considering everything we've been through in this race, with the contact model, with ridiculous racing standards, and the most ridiculous start I've ever witnessed in my life. But despite all of that, at top 6, it's a possibility. I remember Rain was joking with me before we started qualifying that we're going to get a top 7, despite not feeling confident around here, and that is definitely on the cards here with P6. So, let's see what we can do. We've been saving up the battery, and Rain has advised me to keep saving the battery for the final 2 straights, because that's going to be our best chance to make some moves happen. Alpha Gully does not get the best run out of that chicane, and now...
How much has he got? What's the RS?
Right at the front is 35%, Bobbert's 43, Alpha 54.
We have the most battery out of everyone in front of us, and Alpha Gully does not get the best run out of turn 22. He's got front wing damage, but we're going to try and use everything down the final 2 straights. He is flashing. We're going to move to the inside, but we just get boxed in. We can't do anything. Alpha Gully trying everything to retain position. We try and get the best exit out of the final corner, and now we're going to try and beat him into a drag race up to the line.
P7 somehow. What the hell was that race?
Absolute joke of a race. I should have got 6th.
Yeah.
Genuinely, that is one of the most comical races I've ever seen in my life.
And that is the end of the race. Somehow, we get P7. But that is not why I wanted to make this video. The reason why I wanted to is because that is the ugly side of league racing. A side that no one wants to see. I didn't want to really show this at all. It's actually embarrassing. Causing a virtual safety car 10 seconds into a race when you're on the second highest tier in WOR with some fast drivers, it's ridiculous. Simply ridiculous. And, you know, you heard my reactions throughout the race. I feel like if I don't have reactions like that, it means I don't care. And I really do care about racing and giving you guys the best showcase of what I can do at this level. And if it's going to be like that, then it ruins it for everybody else. And that's all I can say, really. Somehow we get points. I'll take it. Thankfully, this one's behind us. But I'm not happy in the slightest. We've got one race to go, and hopefully things get better. Subscribe for more, and as always, I'll see all of you in the next one.